All right, here we go. Dalton Prout, NHL retired, NHL veteran, almost 10 years in the game. I was looking up the average career for NHL players like 4 or 5 years. You managed to play almost like 10 years. So I want to say congratulations off the
Oh,
bat
thanks,
for
man.
that accomplishment off alone. One of the things that I want to speak about that helped you play that long was one of the things that you incorporated into your training program, which is the boxing. Um, so specifically, since you incorporated boxing into your regular training program during your career, how can you say that it helped your performance on the ice?
Oh, man. First off, thank you. It's great to see you. But man, I'll take you back to my first year in junior. I remember going into my first training camp, and I'm 16. I'm in a car with 20-year-olds, and they're giving me a ride to the rink, and like, who are you gonna fight? Who are you gonna fight in your first scrimmage? I was like, what? I just took my cage off a month ago with my own screwdriver, and I was just a kid, just getting my feet wet, playing away from home for the first time, and it was a rough and tumble training camp. I didn't know what was going on. I was a little bit overwhelmed. So I remember that first summer I went home. I was in my basement gym in Kingsville. I think it's called something else, but it used to be Total Fitness.
Yeah.
And I saw some guys boxing down there, hitting mitts. I was like, I need to do that. So I hung around after, and I was talking to the guys running the class. Andre, he lives in Leamington, Courtomage, and
Great coach. Yes, great coach.
yeah, awesome. And he helped me jump in on a few classes. And then I said he knew I was training for hockey, and I was playing at the time the highest level you could in the OHL, and for my age. And he said, "Wait, you want some one-on-one training?" So I'd show up early in the morning, and little did I know, I just wanted to be able to defend myself. Oh, this is the dog Kiwi.
Yes, that Kiwi.
But yeah, I just to be able to protect myself, but all of the things that came from it. And I was lucky I picked it up at a younger age, because it developed me not just as everything, as a person, your confidence, as your athleticism, your coordination, in every aspect, it helped me. And unbeknownst to me at the time, I was just going there I didn't want to get beat up. And, and being a bigger guy, sometimes you're the first guy guys in their team look to. So I'm not sure how you want to, unwrap that. Which aspect you want to go at first? There's the big man.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay.
Talk about growing up. I've seen that guy.
Yeah.
He's a little bit quicker now.
Exactly. So yeah, just that you brought it back to the beginning, the stuff like the hand-eye coordination and the footwork and the agility. Obviously, you're the tough guy. They look at you to fight, but the other skills, like how it helped you with your skills, how out of all the drills and exercises that you did, which one could out of the drills that you can say helped transfer better to your sport, like helped helped your performance?
I think I'm telling you, number one. When you're a kid, the hardest day is the hardest day you had. So when you're in the ring and you're going on 3-minute rounds and you're tired, and the coach says, and you got to focus when your heart rate's right at the top, as high as you've ever had it, and you got to execute a punch while you're moving in an athletic stance when you're tired. That's what laid a base for me to start improving as an athlete, and then that translated into hockey. So working when you're tired, because as athletes, or specifically as a hockey player, it's as much of an endurance sport as it is to boxing.
Exactly.
And you have to work when you're tired. So, when you have to battle
still staying sharp. Exactly. You were just about to say it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You go battle for a puck, you sprint, you got to know what's going behind you. Meanwhile, you're just skating, and all of these skills that you're pulling together in a blink of an eye, you have to execute when you're tired. So if I'm sprinting towards the wall, I got to get a puck, and then I got to find, not knowing that I'm going to get hit. I have to have the awareness of where my teammates are at and where to put a pass. So you have to stay ready, but you have to have those fine motor skills working when you're at your peak fatigue. And obviously you have the physical altercation part that tends to, you've seen it, and a guy gets in there for the first time with a sparring session, he's stiff.
Yeah.
And then he's tired, and then it gets defensive. okay, so you're in
Exactly.
shape, you're on your toes, and then you have some confidence. And then one thing I learned once I got my feet under me in my conditioning, and I would just work on combinations, and I'd be a little bit stiff, just simple like a 1-2 and a hook, and then I kind of forget, I'd get stagnant, I'd get stiff.
Hmm.
And once I got my conditioning, and I kept doing those reps, and I had the like that delayed gratification, something clicking after I've been working
Yes.
at it for 2 months.
Exactly.
So then I just kept showing up because I knew it was good for me, and I kept feeling really small improvements. But man, when there was nothing like, I remember it, like you just felt smooth and I'm on my toes.
Yeah.
Reps after rep, 1-2, hook, duck,
Exactly.
hook, hook, and then get out of the way
Exactly.
with your footwork. And then I'm like, wait, I just did that 3 or 4 times as combos, just reps, and I'm not tired
Naturally.
yet. Okay, let's
Exactly.
keep going. So
Exactly.
that was one of the biggest things, working when you're tired and still being athletic. And then that translated on the ice to being on my toes, and I'd be halfway through a shift when the other guy's tired. I have the juice to go get a puck and make a play. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to get off the ice. So you can just looking for that
Exactly.
edge, and
Mhm.
especially in junior, you put that work in, you're going to separate yourself pretty quickly because you're still working to learn how to improve your game.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm glad you brought it up, specifically that mental part, because that transfers over into exactly the athleticism that you need to execute the plays. So glad you brought that up. So
Yeah.
basically after seeing the benefits of you know um, seeing the benefits of using boxing to help your performance on the ice, do you feel confident saying that all hockey players should incorporate some boxing into their training program to help their performance on the ice?
Oh, absolutely. That was number one. I remember my first was in Kingsville, Andre Quartermash, and then when I was I switched my training. I was drafted to Columbus, and I was spending the off seasons there. I reached out to a guy who was no stranger to the fisticuffs, Jody Shelley. If you want to
Mm.
look him up, 30 fights a year, 25, 30 fights a year for 10 plus years in the NHL. He's
Wow.
a uh, Nova Scotia guy. Um, he's a brawler. He's an awesome guy. And I asked him, I was like, who can I train with when I'm here? And his name was Doug Owens. He's a Columbus native. He helped Buster Douglas make
Really?
the upset. Yeah, on Mike Tyson. It
Wow.
was really
I need to
cool.
know about that. I need to know about that. I need to talk to him. You need to get me in
Yeah, he's
contact with him,
awesome.
please.
He's awesome. So he gave me a little bit of the backstory on that. And what was really cool was that when that fight happened it was over in it was in Asia. I want to say, was it
Japan. It
China?
was in Japan.
Okay.
Japan.
It was in
Yeah.
Japan, and their regulation ring was a touch smaller. So they had this ring built. And after the training camp was done, Doug's like, I'll take it. He puts it in a warehouse, starts training guys on the side, and then he builds this thing. And I show up and he gives me the backstory on this actual ring. So I got to train in that ring.
Wow. That was
Yeah,
the actual ring?
yeah, that was the ring. Yeah, so really cool. But yeah,
Wow.
he was really smart. He had taken, um, he worked with hockey players before, and it was awesome. He really helped me, not just as far as athleticism. And I got in there. I remember the first day, I said, what do you want? And I said, it's some bag work, reach, some hockey specific drills, and he incorporated a lot of like athleticism, whether it's sprinting backwards, holding a medicine ball above my head, and I try and get away from his body shots.
Yeah,
He had a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
athleticism and different drills.
Yeah,
And then when I came back home, that's when I bought a place at home, and I reached out to you.
yeah, yeah,
You were
yeah.
helping me, but absolutely incorporating it at least once a week
Mhm.
um, in my off season, I found it was paramount, and it was I needed it. I think it's good for any young athlete.
Mhm.
If you're going to be in a physical altercation sport where there's body contact,
Mhm.
it's a must. Whether it's I like boxing and I preferred it. If it's not that, kickboxing or some sort of grappling, MMA,
Yeah,
um, you need it, man. It
exactly.
does wonders for you.
Like I said, man, even the toughness transfers to the extra athleticism, the mental toughness, right?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Because
that's perfect.
I always thought it was, it's all mental. It's all mental.
Mhm.
80%, 20%. People like to dice it up, but the best way I heard it put to me that resonated with me was every sports, it's like 95% physical. If you can't physically execute it, you can't
Yeah,
play. But that
exactly.
5% mental is the gatekeeper to you being
Mm,
able to do everything else. And
yes, yeah.
uh, you know, as far as boxing, that helped me solidify. Not that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to be a killer right now, right here, right now, all the time. No,
Mm,
it's just putting a tool in my bag that if I know it helped me, like I said, when you're tired, you're fatigued, you can make that soft play because you know that if you want to mess with me, I'll pull that tool out anytime.
yeah.
You're right, and that helped. That helped.
Yeah,
It helps calm your nerves and helps your confidence for executing those. The skill play or the thing that the touch.
exactly, exactly. Um, so a little bit outside of boxing now, just in general, like I said at the beginning, like most professional athletes in general last 4 or 5 years. You lasted almost a decade. So just had a specific question about your mental focus, specifically for any kids that are watching right now that are hoping to make it to your level and play for that long. How were you able to stay mentally focused for that long? First of all, just to get you know before you got drafted to stay focused at that level, to do what you did, score and offense and defense, and then when you got to that level, what helped you? How were you able to stay focused for that long?
You know what? There's so many things went into it. Number one was the help I had. Whether it was reaching out to you or hockey coaches or my parents, that gave me kind of a platform to work
Mhm.
hard. And then the other thing was a little bit of momentum out of junior. I wasn't drafted right away. I love the game of hockey. I wasn't sure how far I could take it. But then as soon as I saw some guys get drafted and I was 18 years old, I'm sitting at home being like, wait, I know that guy. Like I can work harder than that guy and I
Mhm.
can be a little bit better. And I started taking it really serious. And then I came home in junior because I always liked training. Um, and I said, I was just making it up as I go. I was like, wait, I can make some good money at this. I can make a living at this. I was like, it's over. Let's go.
Nice.
I don't want a real job. I don't want, and I can get to hang out with my buddies. I can keep this regime going.
Yeah.
Um, and I found when guys would come home in the summer, um, training isn't what it is now. Hockey started to get scouted at a much younger age, so it's more regimented. But when
Mhm.
I went into junior, your off season wasn't really, there wasn't as much emphasis put on it. And I was looking at everybody like they were crazy. You got 3 or 4 years here to maybe get drafted and then have a chance. Like, if this is what you want to do, how isn't it all you do?
Yeah, yeah.
That was kind of how I was wired. So I
Mhm.
came home when I was 16, 17, and I had 2 workouts a day for 5 or 6 days of the week. I didn't want to do anything else.
Mhm.
And then that transferred into maybe a little bit of overtraining, absolutely,
Yeah.
because a little bit of the phases of it where I'm going to do more than you. When you say quit, I'm going to go 10 more, no matter
Mhm.
what. And that helped me a lot. And then I learned from my mistakes from that, whether, like you said, I get to the level, I get drafted and, I'm 23, 24, I'm not 18, 19 anymore. And hockey's a hard game on your
Mhm.
body. So then it switched my mindset to trying for performance,
Yeah.
the quality over the quantity. And, and then all the other things that you get told, and the
Mhm.
best lesson learned, is the one you learn on your own with the discipline, the commitment, all those things. You think you've gotten there. Okay, I'm going to go 4 workouts this week, and I can't just put my head in the gym all the time. I need to live my life,
Yeah,
right? All
yeah.
those things that you tell yourself. Like, but then you realize when you wake up, you get better or you get worse at your craft, and the more committed you are, and then the other things of there's a lot of people fighting for the same job. So,
Mhm.
all those pitfalls of comparison and, the game comes a lot easier. This guy, he doesn't even work out in the summer. Or this guy is such a good skater, but he doesn't even work on his skating in the summer.
Mhm.
Um, so, then you realize put the blinders on and you have your own path.
Exactly. Tunnel
And
vision.
you have your own path. Yeah, tunnel vision for your own path and progress and your own progress every day. And
Mhm.
that helped me. Um, those were kind of the tools that helped me perform and like lay the base to
That's
play the game I love.
That's great to know, because as a coach, even what the reason why I asked that question specifically to all the pro athletes that I speak to, judging from my own personal experience, not saying that I was good enough to make it to the pro level, but as a teenager, I thought I would be able to balance out hanging out with my friends, and I can go to practice another time
Oh
and
yeah.
balance that out, right? I
Yeah.
thought I was able to do that. And it's only as you get older, you realize the mistake that you made. So as a coach, I see some of these kids that have talent, but they're not putting in the effort. And it's like, man, I know what they're going through, thinking that they can do that. And you just hope that some of the ones could stay focused. But so I'm specifically going to cut this part out of the interview and make sure to show it to the kids, just to
Oh yeah.
so they
You have to
understand keeping
every
that
day,
focus, right?
better or worse, every day. And you
Exactly.
know what? No matter what path you are, it's the same thing. You wake up in the morning, like, do you have the discipline to eat 3 quality meals in a day? Break it down to the simplest things. It's can you stay hydrated today? Can you
Hmm.
go to the bed at the exact same time for 5 days? What is your
Mm.
career worth to you? And it comes down to those simplest of things, because the monotonous grind of discipline and doing the simple things are, nobody talks about it. It's wickedly hard. I don't want to. I don't want to. And then I just don't want to. And that's terrible. And then the simple, to dial it down to one thing is, like, your mindset of where you want to go has to be stronger than your feelings, because the feelings win all the
Mm.
time. And it,
The
you know,
mindset has to be stronger than the feelings. Yes, yes,
yeah, because
yes, yes.
and then that's the other thing, and you tie that back to when you're fatigued, you're so much more likely to lean towards your feelings. Okay, so I'm gonna get tired when I'm doing mitts and not even knowing it. Okay, I hit them, breathe, no, straight, and then you're thinking about, you're in the moment, right? And then but when you get tired, you need to drop your hands, and your coach needs to smack you on the chin
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
in real time you're there all
Yes,
the time.
exactly.
So you give into your feelings, and fatigue makes you give into your feelings.
Hmm.
So get there, do something that is intense and stresses the body, so you build your mindset when you're tired, so that,
Hmm.
oh no, you snap out of it, because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
fine line that is, you take Mike Tyson in Buster Douglas. He was partying, he was going out every night,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
best of the best, with the best genes and the best coach,
yeah,
the best coaching cocktail of prodigy you can ever imagine, got beat.
yeah,
And right, and it happens to everybody. And
yeah, 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 yeah.
you learn the lessons on your own, and then next thing of that is, the best lesson learned is the one again. You got to learn it
Yeah.
again, and that's why
There you go.
you're thankful for guys like you, man. That you got to learn again, and it has to be harped on all the time, because you're gonna mess up. You're gonna mess.
Exactly.
You're keep gonna
Exactly.
mess up.
I won't keep you for too much longer. Just got one more quick question.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, if you can bring us back to, we talked about the skills, how boxing helped with the skills. Now, specifically with the fighting, I'm a coach. I know the process to bring someone from a novice level up to. I never had one of my own boxers qualify for the Olympics, but I was an assistant coach to a few athletes that qualified for the highest level. So I know that process from novice to the highest level.
Top
But
tier.
I don't know the process for a hockey fighter from a novice to the professional levels. So, and I remember a while ago you were briefly just telling me, and you spoke about it at the beginning today, just how they just kind of basically asked you like, hey, so anyways, I'll let you tell
Yeah,
people the
I
process.
remember it's kind of, it's very old school in that way, and definitely it's taken a backseat, because in the middle of my pro career, or just at the beginning, my second or third year in, was when 3 guys, terribly committed suicide.
Mm,
And that's just, it was, I think it was a mixture of the times, and they were tough. And uh, you know, it was more or less kids in junior. If they would do it willfully, okay, then they can do it at the professional level. And they were kind of thrown to the dogs. And then, but much like myself, it's, you don't have the training. It's, a lot of guys are operating out of fear, that fear for their job, fear they want to have a spot on the team, fear of their coaches. And so behind closed doors, guys just started, training and training specifically to play those 2 or 3 minutes a night, make their NHL money and have their NHL pension and have a good life. And who's going to give that up for a head injury that nobody else can see but yourself? So the league has come a long way. They've limited the amount of fights in junior, because if you let the kids go, there's a lot of posturing and there's a lot of, unspoken body language that, the fear. You don't want to give in, because if you give in, that guy's got the edge on you. So you see 18-year-olds fighting 30 times a year, and that doesn't pan out too well if they don't have help. So that's why I'm thankful I had help, and I trained properly to defend myself. But it's something that it's done a lot better now, because because of the salary cap, they can't pay someone on the bench for 2 minutes just to be an enforcer. So you have to go out there and you have to be able to play the game. You have to keep up.
So you actually have to have skills, not just be a tough guy.
You have to have skill. You have to be able to pass. You have to know the plays, know the systems. You have to be of use on a power play or a penalty kill, or shut down, play defense, not be a liability. And if you can incorporate that with an extra bit of your game, okay, so you can, play a little bit more on edge, play a little bit more in your face, and then, that's going to come with playing physical. And then, it's a physical game. So if you're asserting yourself physically, another team, you're going to come across guys that want to push back. And, you hear it in post-game interviews all the time with coaches. We had no pushback tonight. Because you travel 50,000 miles in a season, you're in the playoffs, you have that pushback. But as far as the progression of that, I'm sure now there's a lot more communication on behalf of coaches. So if they see a player that's a little bit more aggressive, and say they had 5 hits that night, and then someone challenged them, they're coming out of minor hockey. They didn't know what to do. They know there's fighting in hockey, but then you get the older guys that pull you aside after practice. And then you just drop your gloves and just wrestle a little bit to get the feeling of a guy's trying to get loose and get his arm out.
Yes. I see some guys do that. Like they practice like on the ice, just kind of, I know exactly. They kind of wrestling, like wrestling.
Yeah, because it's a little bit of jujitsu. You have something on, you have something to grab onto. It's not just boxing. There's a little dirty boxing. You get in a clinch and you can throw it like with your head. But it's not like that. You have something to grab onto. So just showing you where to grab. So for example, if a guy's a little bit has a longer reach than you want to grab his biceps, right? So then you can control if he's going over or he's going under. But then again, if you're shorter than the guy you're fighting, and you're just grabbed by the collar, I'm loose on my arm. So and then learning how to not get scared, just go like this. Keep your eyes up and protect your chin. And then when he throws, duck and get in closer. Okay, so now I'm in leverage. Just
technique.
Starting from different points, and then having the grip strength. So I would wrap a towel around a boxing bag. He would be pulling it from the other side, so I have to hold on to it to protect my chin. And then like you did, how we're working on the bag, and then you'd have the jab stick.
Yes.
So when you get tired, people curl up. No, you got to breathe and you got to look, even if you get hit a little bit. Keep your eyes up, breathe. All those small cues, you build them in when you're really tired. So then it really simulates when you're in the real thing. And so there's a progression with it. And then the whole mental side of the confidence to do it. So then I remember my first year pro, we were getting roughed up a bit when the minors it was the wild, wild west. I've seen a few careers ended, it was crazy.
Really, eh?
Yeah, like a flying elbow, guys, just bad stuff. And so we brought in a couple tougher guys, and he pulled me aside after practice because I was bigger. And at the time I was playing in the minors just to give myself a chance. The team was to see if I was worth anything, basically.
So time out. Basically, as the bigger guy, you're just assumed to have that role. Like there's no asking. Like
hey, there's guys who are my size. Like I'm the same size as Mario Lemieux. But hey, I don't have 200 points a year. But if I can play defense and I have the skill set to protect a teammate, all of a sudden I'm more valuable than the guy that is my size and plays defense. But this guy's a little bit tougher. So and that difference is a living in the NHL for a few years or staying in the minors and your career's over 3 or 4 years into it. Or you go play in Europe, you go play in different leagues. But if you, my skill set taps out here. I had a physical edge, got me to here, and gave me some NHL time. And that's, it was a risk that it's worth taking. Or in my life, it was.
Yeah, definitely.
But I had the tougher guys around me when I was younger to learn, and I was. I think this guy's so big, and then he pulls me aside. Hey, I might fight this guy tonight. You're the same size. Keep your glove on. I'm going to keep my helmet on. Grab me here. Just try and punch me.
So really?
I'm like, okay. So after practice, I grab onto his collar, and I'm just kind of like, trying to punch him. I've done some of my boxing, and I had fought in junior before, but to actually, okay, try and punch me over. Okay, try and punch me under, and then he was just getting his timing down. Getting a feel for, getting brushed, because
technical sparring. Basically, you guys were doing technical sparring.
Yes. But it's a very homemade version of, because a hockey team doesn't have a boxing coach or a fighting coach. They'll have a power play coach. They'll have a PK coach or penalty kill. They'll have a systems. They'll have the video coach. And a lot of this training is put into your own hands, because once the season starts, especially at the NHL level, you have 3-4 games a week. You're traveling everywhere. Say I'm out of the lineup for 4, 5, 6, 7 games, and the game I get in, I have to be ready as the one that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
With no training.
Wow.
Right. And you're just flying around, eating. You're getting little workouts in. You're getting a little bit of extra workout practice and morning skates. But that's why for me, in a role player's position, your preparation was just, you're not in the flow of playing 15, 20 minutes a night. I'm not relied on, like, for example, a name that everyone knows, like Connor McDavid, that is playing 20 to 25 minutes a night. He is their be all end all offense. He's just in the flow of performing. Whereas the depth players on defense, they might play once or twice for every 5 or 6 games. But when they get in there, they have the tension of physical altercation while still being able to put it on Connor's tape so he can go score a goal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, there's different, just like you said, there's different mental battles everywhere. That's why the blinders are important, because everyone's fighting their own fight. Everyone has their own struggles, and they're all relative.
Interesting, man. Interesting. That is awesome. To end it off, what are you up to now? So you're officially retired now. I know you just got married. Congratulations on that. Congratulations. Thanks. Obviously, you're just gonna chill for a bit, let yourself relax. But do you have any plans for the future? What do you plan on doing?
Yeah, so I had the time during COVID. I say this a little bit reluctantly, because man, it's been tough on everybody. But for me personally, my life was very busy up until that point. It gave me a chance to be at home, kind of decompress, assess at what I want to do next. I've reached out to many old coaches and general managers, trainers that were very good to me over the years, say my thank yous, and looking for advice on what to do next. There's a service with the league that kind of helped me navigate that a little bit, and we were going back and forth, and I was deciding on what I wanted to do. I spent a lot of time at Power Tech, the development hockey academy there, attached to Tecumseh Arena. Bandy Paquette.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so we had a great time in there. And I was training kids, the 10 to 15-year-olds. We were running camps when we could, when the rules allowed. So that helped. I was just helping kids. That helped a lot. And then I reached out to an old teammate that's a real estate agent down in Nashville. He helped me find a place here. Decided to move here, and then I called my one phone call that changed everything was my old assistant general manager, Bill Zito, he's managing now in for the Florida Panthers, and he offered me a job to do some scouting for him. So I hopped on board there, and I actually had a meeting yesterday, and we're headed down there for free agency and the draft to try and see what the direction of their organization is next. So I'm
Sorry,
really
what team was this? What team was this?
Florida Panthers.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna slowly work your way up the coaching ranks. That's what I like to see.
It's a foot in the door somewhere. It's an organization to help out, and I love watching hockey, and it's something I'm really excited to do.
Perfect, man. Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Dalton. Congratulations again on a decade's worth of playing at the highest level of your sport. And congratulations. Good luck on everything else that you're going to be doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You're a good one. Everyone that trains with you is really lucky, man.
Cool, man. Cool.
1, 2, 3, smack that thumbs up for this video. Smack it, baby! 1, 2, 3, smack that thumbs up for this video. Smack it, baby! 1, 2, 3, smack that thumbs up for this video. Smack it, baby!